Hi, welcome to Big Bad Dad TV. Today's 5 Minutes with Big Bad Dad. I thought we'd talk a little bit about discipline. So let's go. Okay, here we are, episode 2 of 5 Minutes with Big Bad Dad. I started this channel to bring us all as dads together to try to be the best big bad dads that we can be, and heck, even bring moms together to be the best big bad moms they can be. You know, we owe that to our children. We owe it to do the best we can when we raise them, and that's what this channel was started for and what this whole thing's about. But anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about discipline, specifically disciplining our children. You know, it's a hard thing to do sometimes, and it's probably the hardest thing to do as a parent consistently, but it's probably the most important thing that we could ever do as we're raising our children, to be consistent in our discipline, how we go about it, to teach our kids right from wrong, honesty, integrity. The list goes on of great attributes that you want your children to be raised up in. And honestly, it's an honor that we are given that opportunity to raise our children in a great way. But it doesn't mean it makes it any easier. It's unfortunately one of the hardest things we have to do. That old saying that everybody's heard, that this is going to hurt me worse than you, is true. It breaks my heart every time we ever have to do anything, and you know, especially one of the first times we had to do that years and years ago. I mean, it literally breaks my heart, but it's something that needs to happen. And I don't want to get into a discussion today about how we go about that discipline, whether you're a spanker or not a spanker, or corners, timeouts, things like that. They're all great ways, and that's a hugely personal way between you and your spouse and your kids. So, like I said, I don't want to get involved in that. You guys do what you feel is best. But there are several things I'd like to talk about that can maybe go a little ways in helping out with that discipline, and maybe a couple things that we don't think about a lot that we should consider as discipline too. The first thing I would talk about is know your children. Every child's different. You know, you can't. You should have the same rules growing up with all your children, but how you apply those and apply discipline needs to be different for every one of your children, depending on who and what they are. What I mean by know your children, I mean, if you've got a bullheaded child, one child bullheaded and one child extremely sensitive, you know, the same way you approach the bullheaded child probably isn't going to work as well for the sensitive child. Where you might need to get onto your bullheaded kid a little bit harder, maybe a little bit sterner, maybe a little bit forceful, just so it sinks in their thick head. That same tone and act for a sensitive child might not work at all. You know, the last thing we want to do when we discipline our kid is we want to teach them a lesson. We want them to learn and grow. We don't want to shut them down and kill their spirit, where they're just a ball of nothing at that point. And at that point, I believe that they're once you break somebody, they're not learning anymore. They're just in survival mode. And you know, ultimately, we want them. The goal of discipline is to have them act better the next time they do it. Like my old boss used to say, I don't mind you making mistakes, but let's make a different one next time. Don't keep redoing the same one. The other aspect of that is, as adults, we're not perfect. We have made mistakes before. We've disciplined our children, and you know, I'm the king of that. I'm a guy. I'm a dad. I don't just fly off my handle. I hear something in 5 seconds, and I think I know everything that's going on, and I'll go over there and start disciplining, or maybe it'll be a loud voice and things like this. And you know, after I calm down, I finally get the gist of what's going on, and I find out that you know, I was wrong. I misinterpreted some things. I wasn't there for the beginning of the conversation, or you know, for whatever. But it's okay that we make mistakes. It's a great learning opportunity that you can go up to your child, look them in the eyes, and apologize that you made a mistake. Ask for the forgiveness and say, look, you know, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have got on you. I apologize. You know, I love you. Dads make mistakes too. And it's okay. It's a great learning experience for both of you, a great moment of growth for both you and your kids and your spouse. You know, I don't know if everybody makes mistakes, but I do. So I thought I'd throw that on there. The other aspect and last aspect I'd like to talk about is positive discipline. You know, we always think discipline's always a negative. it's a spanking, it's a corner, it's something taken away, it's whatever it is, but there's always a negative connotation to it. That we consider, which is very important. If your kid is shoplifting or whatever, they need to be punished for that. If your kid is lying, they need to be punished for that. But the other aspect of it is, if your kid is learning and has stopped doing whatever they were punished for over a period of time, it's also important that we give a positive discipline, recognizing that they have changed behavior. They get caught lying or whatever, and then they get punished and they survive their punishment, whatever that is, and then another scenario comes around a couple weeks later that you remember the last time this was brought up, they lied to you directly to your face. This time they bowed their head, looked at you and said, "Dad, I got to tell you the truth." That's where the point of positive discipline would come in, where you not only do you are happy inside that they did the right thing, but you look them right in the eyes and go, "Look, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Just several weeks ago you were punished over this, but now you're telling me the truth. You're awesome. This is the greatest day ever." And you praise your child for the act that they did. That positive discipline will go a lot farther in their memory banks ever than the spanking. They're going to forget the spanking, but the day they made Big Bad Dad happy by not doing what got them punished just weeks ago will really stick in their deal. It's the most powerful discipline you can do to your children, right? There is a time and place for negative discipline. There is absolutely a time and place it is, but sometimes we forget that the positive discipline is even more important, and that's what finishes up the whole discipline thing in my mind. So that's about it. I said, leave me some feedback, like and subscribe if you like this podcast. If you absolutely agree with me, I would love to hear you down at the bottom of the comments. And you know what? If you disagree with me, I'd love to hear that too. This is a channel for open dialogue and things like this, just to make us all better. And again, the goal is all of us to be big bad dads or big bad moms. Again, I appreciate you being here. Remember my motto: always live with faith, family, and fun. It'll get you everywhere in life. We'll see you. Thank you. Be good.